Yes, y'all. Welcome back to yet another fantastic episode of The Work. We are here again with the Moon Man wallpaper this time. Hope you guys like it. I do. Look at all that, huh? Walking towards America. All those beautiful lights, people in their home, enjoying freedom, prosperity. Well, wait, Moon Man, hold on. I got bad news for you. That's actually fire. The entire country is in upheaval. It's on fire. Dog, walk away. Turn around, fool. I'm trying to help you, dog, but you can't hear me. Unfortunately, we are in this mess and we are in it to the end. Not unfortunately that we're in the mess, but just that, we're in the mess, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, we're in the mess. Not unfortunately, we're in it together. But we'll work it out. We kind of have to. Otherwise, we won't have a country. Just that. So, yeah, here we are again. Let's get right into it. So, today's topic, I want to start off by reminding you guys, I'm not sure how many of you heard this, but there's currently a pretty hilarious thing happening right now involving Facebook. So Facebook, as you all know, makes most of its money off of its advertising. And currently Facebook is going through a adpocalypse, I guess you can call it. I know a few of them have hit YouTube, making a lot of people a lot less money over the years, but now it's happening to Facebook. And what are these companies looking for? Why are they boycotting Facebook? Why are they not giving Facebook the advertisements that they were once doing? Now let's look at first who is doing these boycotts, right? Let's check this out here. All right. Pay no attention to the ugly dude on the CNN page. So this is CNN. Here are some of the companies right here. Adidas, Ben & Jerry's. So now, one thing you got to remember is that Facebook makes most of its advertising money off of small businesses. There's obviously millions and millions of small businesses, praise God. And we need even more. We need even more small businesses, okay? Because that's what makes America great, literally. Small businesses, every time, and I want you guys to remember this, okay? For as long as you live, remember this, please. When it comes to corporate tax, okay, these companies here on the screen, these companies, Lego, Levi's, Microsoft, Patreon, Puma, North Face, all these companies, Starbucks, Target, are you kidding me? When it comes to corporate tax, these companies, and on this list and many more like them, the multinationals, they're not the ones paying that corporate tax, okay? At the very most, they're paying a fraction of that corporate tax, all right? Corporate tax are the majority of the taxes in America, okay? They cover a lot. Maybe not the majority, but they cover a lot of taxes in America. Let me not say majority, because I think that's changed now. They cover a lot. Like I said, there's millions of small businesses, okay? That's the mom and pop shop. That's the what do you call it? The pizza store, the store, the upcoming chick that just opened her little clothing store, okay? Mom and pop shops, small businesses. They pay most of the corporate tax. When the corporate tax, whatever the corporate tax is, these companies here, they don't care. They're gonna get their 200 plus lawyers to stay up all night making sure that they pay the least amount of taxes possible, and they are gonna save. Oh man, if the corporate tax is 30%, they're paying 2, 5, or 0. They're gonna find a way to do that. So always keep that in mind. It's a little adjunct to the story. Always keep that in mind. Anyway, so these companies, again, they're not the majority of the Facebook revenue when it comes to ads, but they are a huge portion of it. Not only that, these companies have way more reach in terms of a single entity than your mom and pop shop. Freddy's Pizzeria, Juan's Taqueria, freaking Mohammed's Shawarma. They don't have the reach that Levi's, Legos, JanSport, HP. They're not gonna nowhere near, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Oops, sorry, I've been not having that there the whole time. These companies here, it's a list of the companies. So it's a pretty big deal that these companies, although they're not, maybe together they're 30%. They do become a huge chunk, but I just want to stress that this is not the majority of how Facebook makes its ad money. but it is but they, like I said, they do have a lot of reach. So when they move, it does speak to people because of the reach they have and who's going to cover it, the mainstream media and all that. So these companies have come out recently, all these companies together, and they are boycotting Facebook for what? I'm gonna give you a little Jeopardy time right here, and y'all could think about what would all these companies, all these huge multinational companies, I mean, just look at them. All these companies, what would they be boycotting Facebook for? Of all the things that Facebook has been coming under scrutiny for, what is the thing that you think that these companies, American companies, most of them, if not all of them, that they are boycotting Facebook for? If you said anything besides the rampant and unchecked abuse of hate speech on the Facebook platform, hate speech, okay, which is a made-up term, it's nonsense. Okay, it means naughty opinions or things that the powerful don't like to hear. That's what that, and more that's becoming exactly what it is. It's just what these multinational companies don't like to hear, and what they may what's deemed socially unacceptable to say today might be that's going to expand tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, you may be able to say ABC today, but tomorrow, so it changes, right? Hate speech. These companies, again, American companies, have a problem with the unchecked proliferation of hate speech on Facebook. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. Where, oh where, is there this Facebook that has this rampant hate speech? Who on Facebook? Where on Facebook is it endorsed? Hilarious racist jokes that we all laugh at in private, but we can't laugh at in public. Where is this going on Facebook? Where has Zuckerberg, the Android model 4.2, where has he endorsed this? Where's the official Facebook page of I hate whites or I hate blacks? So there probably is an I hate whites one, honestly. There probably is one like that. But where's the I hate blacks? Where's the I hate Asians page? Hate speech on Facebook? Facebook is one of the most censorious platforms that we currently have. Facebook? We're talking about Facebook. So this is a complete and utter nonsense thing. But that's what they're doing anyway. Okay. And obviously it's a power play. Yeah, and I mean Clorox, right? Clorox cares about bad opinions on Facebook, right? That's what is keeping up the CEO of Clorox, right? That's what the COO comes in early and leaves work late for. Oh my God. I know, honey. I know I'm supposed to be home 2 hours ago, but the boss really wants me to work out this Facebook thing of why people are saying mean things on the internet. Yeah. That he has that conversation. Chobani, the yogurt company. Yeah. We can't have bigots eating our yogurt, guys, okay? Sort out the bigot dollars from the normal dollars. Sort them out and throw them out the goddamn window. We don't want bigot dollars here. You think they're saying that? You think any of these companies wouldn't take $1 billion if it was given, if some virulent multi-billion-dollar racist was like, oh yeah, here's $1 billion. You think these companies wouldn't take that money? So just keep that in mind, right? That's just a piece of appetizer for the main story. Keep that in mind. All right. So while that's going on, while all these companies are fighting for all this social change, and they're putting up their Black Lives Matter statements, supporting the organization, affirming this revolutionary stance that Black Lives Matter. Okay, they're at the forefront of what it means to be a moral entity. These multinational corporations that make all their clothes in India, Pakistan, and China, because it's moral to do that, I'm sure, right? And nothing to do with the bottom line. The reason why they're in Bangladesh, India, and China is because that's where all the morality is that goes into the clothes, into their products. Duh. I mean, why else, right? Man. So Sorry, I just had to read the message there. So keep that in mind, right? So these companies, they're out to morally turn this damn thing off. They're out to morally make sure that the country is pure for them to advertise. Okay, so that they don't get no bigot dollars. Okay, now what I find hilarious about that, and it may just be me, maybe I'm just not moral enough to reconcile this, but I just find it so funny. That these companies are all out here talking this big game, and then we have a story like this one. New York regulators find Deutsche Bank, douche bank, whatever, $150 million for relationship with Epstein and others. Okay. Now, these companies, again, right, are out here trying to make the world a better place, right, guys? All they want to do is just make sure that these bigot dollars, they don't want bigot dollars, right? But I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to reconcile here how on one foot we're seeing these multinational corporations push for all this censorship on Facebook. Okay, on Facebook. We're talking about Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. And on the other hand, you have Deutsche Bank in open relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now let's dive into this a little bit. Okay. New York State's Department of Financial Services have fined Deutsche Bank $150 million for its negligence. Okay, negligence. This is how they describe the fault of douche bank here, and it's dealing with the late financier and registered sex offender. This nigga right here, this demon pussy right here. The bank, which has agreed to the penalty, failed to properly monitor account activity conducted on behalf of the sex offender, demon face pussy. Jeffrey Epstein. That was despite. Okay, so the bank has agreed to the penalty, failed to properly monitor account activity conducted on behalf of the registered sex offender, despite ample information that was publicly available concerning the circumstances of Mr. Epstein's criminal misconduct. Negligence. It sounds to me like they were a willing participant in Epstein's criminal misconduct, but let's call it negligence. Okay. All right. The department said Douche Bank processed millions of dollars in transactions that, at the very least, should have prompted additional scrutiny in light of Epstein's history, including payments to people alleged to have sexually abused minors with Epstein, as well as millions in settlements and payments to law firms for what appears to have been legal expenses of Mr. Epstein and his co-conspirators. The bank also failed to flag regular cash withdrawals that totaled over $800,000 over a 4-year period, according to the department. Okay. So, for all you broke niggas, when you want to take out more than $10,000 at one time out of the bank, automatically the police gets a call. That's flagged. You get some kind of bothering by the state. Hey man, I know it's your money, but what do you want to do with it? You may not have a criminal record. You may be an upstanding citizen, you know what I mean? But, here we are bothering you, normal American citizen. Here we are bothering you, getting in your business, in your face, because, hey, $10,000, that is a lot of money. We want to know what you're going to do with it. Okay. That's what happens to your broke ass, right? You come up on some money, you handle your stuff right, you save up a little bit. You want to take $10,000 at one time and you just didn't know. That's what happens, right? I don't think you can do that. I think you don't even get your money and the state gets to bother you, right? That's what I think happens. But not for multi-billion-dollar pedophilic demons like Jeffrey Epstein, right? And his demon whore, whatever her name was, Gizamalaine Maxwell, whatever her stupid ass name is. That's not what happens to them, right? Deutsche Bank does not go through the normal operations that they would have to do for you or me for the rich. But I mean, we already know the rich gets a different treatment. That's not that strange. Let's keep reading. In addition to the penalty for these dealings with all the department, which the department said was the first agency enforcement action against a bank for a relationship with Epstein, the department determined the bank did not properly monitor its relationship with, I don't know what this is, another bank. Banks are the first-line defense with respect to preventing the facilitation of a crime through the financial system, and it's fundamental. It is fundamental that banks tailor the monitoring of their customers' activity based on the types of risks that they are poised by a particular customer. Okay, so there's other documents that we read that detailed how not only did the start of this relationship between Epstein and Deutsche Bank, it played out like this. Hey, there's this really, really rich guy that throws all these parts. Somebody's, I guess the guys that go after, that try to get people to do business with their bank. They're having this conversation. Hey, there's this really, really rich guy that throws all these crazy parties and has a lot of other rich and connected people at these parties. Oh, shoot, who's this guy? Jeffrey Epstein, that's his name. Oh, wow. All right, well, try to get him on board. So they go and they talk to him. I guess he agrees. And then they do the background on him, because he damn sure they're doing the background on him, right? They see that he's a convicted sex offender. And they say, wow, okay. This dude, this guy who's a convicted sex offender, throws these crazy, rich, lavish parties, a lot of high security. And at these parties, this convicted sex offender has a lot of really, really young-looking girls. Really, really young-looking girls. Yeah, man, sounds like a good plan. Let's bring him on board. Let's get him to sign some paperwork. This sounds like a really good deal. Get it going. Jeffrey Epstein starts doing the business with Deutsche Bank. And like it says here, let me bring this back up again. Like we saw here, the bank also failed to flag regular cash withdrawals that totaled over $800,000 over a 4-year period. Okay. So, rule for thee, but not for the rich motherfuckers named Jeffrey Epstein and his ilk. Okay. So what we have here are clear violations that this bank knowingly participated in the facilitation of this guy's pedophile empire, right? Which is what it is. We have the Deutsche Bank is not some tiny bank. You guys have heard of this bank. You guys have, if you've been to New York, you've seen the buildings. This is one of the premier banks of the world. Okay, this is one of the top rated banks in terms of its reach and its how much money goes through there. Like top 15, definitely top 20, no question about that. Definitely top 20. Okay, how many of these companies here? How many of these companies do you think have done business with this bank? All right, how many? And the ones that didn't do any business with this bank, let's not forget a couple years ago, HSBC, I think that's the proper acronym, HSBC was caught doing open business, knowingly, that's what I mean by openly, knowingly doing business with cartels, helping them with their finances, holding their money, letting them do whatever kind of transactions they want to do, not reporting anything. That was a couple years ago, okay? That came out, this story came out with Deutsche Bank, all right? And there's a lot more detailed stuff that we can go into here, you know, that I mean, there were specific examples that were quoted in the fine All kinds of transactions that, in hindsight, I mean, that we know now. I'm sure they have more understanding than we did than we do now. They knew something was up, and they said nothing. How many of these companies do you think have holdings with them? The morality of the future thinks that Facebook needs more censorship because of some posts that some guy made, some mean statistics, some bad statistics, and we're not even talking about offensive language here. Okay, we're not talking about some guy posting, "I'm gonna kill all Muslims," right? I hate Muslims. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the guy that's saying, "Yeah, all niggers need to burn in hell." We're not talking about those guys, right? We're past that. We're past that. Okay, fuck First Amendment. Okay, that's not even allowed on Facebook to begin with, right? These guys, they're not even going after. They're not even going after hate facts, which is what I like to call them, hate facts. Stuff like, black people commit a disproportionate amount of crime. Right? We're not that. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. What do you call it? Islam has a lot of extremists that end up killing people. We're not talking about that. No, that's also already they don't allow that. They don't allow that. Okay. What we're talking about now in terms of the morality that these multinational, unaccounted, we're not voting for the CEO of Ben and Jerry's, Adidas. We don't have a say in how they run their company, besides our dollars. That's how. But we don't. Blue Shield of California, they wanna put whoever they want in charge to direct their company and say, hey, let's push for this social change or that social change. We have no say in that. Coca-Cola, we don't get to decide any of that. Okay. So these are entities that do not answer to the American people, but here they are shaping society, and to do what? To make illegal. To make it illegal so you can support the president of the United States. So you can support the president of the United States. So you can say, oh, hey, wow, I really like Trump. Oh, hey, I think this is I think it's a good idea that he's tamping down on the border. That's the hate speech that these companies are attacking. That's the hate speech. That's the thing that must not be said. Oh, I can't believe people are trying to cancel J.K. Rowling because she says that men can't be women. Hey, I don't feel like having to memorize 48 genders. Oh yeah, we got to get rid of that guy. That guy. That opinion, that thing he said, that thought crime. Yeah, we can't advertise on this platform because you have bigots like that. You have to get rid of all those bigots. You have to go down to that level. You have to go down to that level. That's the kind of censorship that we want. That's what CBS is after. And if you think it's okay, so you agree that there should be 1,010,000 genders, right? Fine. Tomorrow it'll be something that you don't agree with. They're pushing for pedophilia right now. You've been seeing that? There's a real. I mean, that's been going on for years, but here it is again. They're pushing for pedophilia. Do you agree with that? Do you think what's that little kid that was dancing in the nightclub in that gay club, the one that does all the nasty drag shit? Him. Do you think that? Would you want your kids doing that? It's hateful for you to say you wouldn't let your kids do that. And if it's hateful for you to say that you wouldn't let your kids do that, then your kids should be doing that. So yeah, thanks for taking the time to meet with the Ford executives. Yeah, we want to see those changes implemented. If you'll excuse us, we have to go make a deposit and make some withdrawals. So one thing is morally reprehensible to the point where we have to stomp it out. And yet all these companies, nothing is said. Let's not boycott Deutsche. Let's not boycott HSBC. Let me pull that up for you in case you don't believe me. HSBC. I think it's HSBC. Cartel. Right? This thing is I don't know. Just pick any one of these. Yeah. There you go. There you go. 2 years in a row. There you go. These companies and these are the entities that want to morality police us. So it's not necessarily that they want to morality police us. It's not necessarily that they're after the betterment of America, which they're not, or the world. What I see here is the attempt to shape the world in a more fitting image to what they want. That's what I see. That's what I see. You're telling me these companies can't do the same thing for Deutsche Bank? But they won't. For HSBC? No. So spare me, right? And tell anybody else who is unable to see the obvious reality here. Obvious reality of what's going on here. They're not interested. They're not interested in hate speech. They don't care of what the little guy says. The little guy, typing his little stupid comment. That doesn't matter to these people. There's a bigger goal here. There's a bigger goal here. In order to think, you need to risk offense. In order to just to think, you need to risk offense. You want to create something. What if you want to create something? You think these companies want more competition? That cuts down on what you can do. Oh, we can't give you a loan. You misgendered somebody. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Get out of here, bigot. go back to your wagey job. So that just bugged the hell out of me. That just really, really bugged the hell out of me. That's crazy. That's crazy. And there are people, you could see this on social media. There are people who applaud this. There are fucking dumbasses out there that applaud this. They're really like, how soft is your skull? How can you look at some multinational organization trying to enforce more censorship on Facebook, and you're such a troglodyte that you can't rub your last 4 brain cells together? You can't take 2 of those brain cells out of the 4 that you have left to be like, damn, let me I already obviously don't have the capacity to see, I shouldn't trust multinational organizations, right? That finance pedophile rings and that help cartels conduct their murderous business. I can't do that, right? But let me at least rub them together to say, I should look into this. Let me not just blindly applaud as these companies are taking away my rights. Because let's not kid ourselves here. The new public square is social media. It is Twitter. It is the Facebooks. It is the Parlors, the Gabs, the whatnot, and we need more. But this is what we have right now. Instagram, the rest of it. If you get locked out of these social media spaces, your ability to conduct your First Amendment rights is dramatically reduced, which is unconstitutional. The other day, the Supreme Court said that Trump cannot block anybody on his Twitter feed because that keeps valuable public information away from the people. Okay. Well, if I'm banned off of these sites, then how the fuck am I supposed to access this important public information? I gotta wait till the news lies to me about what was said. People applaud this. People applaud this. That drives me crazy. And I know, I get it. You know, hey, it's easy to just join in with the crowd. It's easy to just, well, that's how we got here, is joining in with the crowd. That's how we got here. That's how we got to the point where everybody's seen a hate crime around the corner and everybody's perpetuating a fake hate crime on themselves. Some dickhead in Seattle, some city councilor or whatever, just tried to send just to smell at himself, send a fake note to himself. Thankfully, he was caught. You know. Oh my God, man. It's just so crazy, you know. And Facebook needs more censorship. Facebook needs more censorship. It reminds me of, you know what, let me actually pull this up here. And let's connect it all back together. Let's connect it all back together here. Pull this up for you. All right. So this is from the UN here. This is then let's just read it. From COVID-19 to climate disruption. Okay. From racial injustice. This is the UN, right? This is the UN. Okay. From racial injustice to okay. So the UN wants to talk to us about racial injustice. This is another one of those examples. This is another one of those. All right. Let's just read into it. We're in a world of turmoil. At the same time, we are an international community with an enduring vision embodied by the United Nations Charter. Fuck yourself. Which marks its 75th anniversary. That vision of a better future based on the values of equality, mutual respect, and international cooperation. United Nations workers were caught participating in a sex ring in Africa, in more than one country, multiple times. Okay. Look at this fat, ugly people. Anyway, our shared challenge. All right, so let's just get to the good point here. The pandemic has laid bare severe and systemic inequalities, both between countries. More boldly, it has underscored the world's fragilities, not just in the face of another health emergency, but in our faltering response on the climate crisis. Not sure what that has to do with the other one. Okay, with COVID-19. Lawlessness in cyberspace. What does that mean? Okay. The emergency is compounded by many other profound humanitarian crises. No one predicted what comes next, but I see two possible outcomes. First, the optimistic possibility. Oh my God, I hate reading from the United Nations. I just feel the tendrils of unaccountability just strangling me. Oh my God. Basically, all right. Let's just read it. In this case, the world would muddle through. Countries in the global north would engineer a successful exit strategy. Developing countries would receive enough support, and their demographic characteristics, namely the youth of their people, would help contain the impact. And then perhaps a vaccine would appear in the next 9 months or so. Ooh, interesting. and would be distributed as a global public health, a people's vaccine. A people's vaccine. Okay. Does this come out of China? Is that why it's the people's vaccine? I wouldn't take it if it was coming out of China. The people's vaccine? No, give it to the next dum-dum. Available and accessible to all. If this happens, it would be, if this happens and if the economy starts up progressively, we might move towards some kind of normality in 2 or 3 years. But there's also a second, bleaker scenario in which countries fail to coordinate their actions. New waves of the virus keep occurring. The situation in developing countries would explode. Work on the vaccine lags, or even if there is a vaccine relatively soon, it becomes the subject of fierce competition, and countries with greater economic power gain access to it first, leaving others behind. Well, if they gain access to it first, and it's a deadly virus, they have a pretty big incentive to pass it around. So I don't know what leaving others behind would mean. Okay. In this scenario, we would also see greater movement towards fragmentation, populism, and xenophobia. Okay. Each country would go it alone or in so-called coalitions of the willing to address some specific challenges. Each country would go at it alone or in so-called coalitions. Isn't our interconnectivity one of the reasons why these viruses and these end world scenarios are able to proliferate at the rate that they are, at the rate that they do? So wouldn't going at it alone to some degree be good? Is there, the way they phrase this is like, yeah, it's just totally bad. If an independent nation does independent nation stuff, but it's not. It's actually kind of good. It's actually the whole point of a nation. But you'll see where this is going. In the end, the world would fail to mobilize the kind of governance. See this? Here it is. Here it comes. In the end, the world would fail to mobilize the kind of governance needed to address our shared challenges. The result may well be global depression that could last at least 5 or 7 years before a new normal emerges, the nature of which is impossible to predict. Well, we've had multiple civilization collapses throughout humanity, and yet we're still here. Not only are we still here, but we've always been able to build on the and this is just going with their end of world. Oh, we need we need world governance. Okay, we need. I'm just going into their we need world governance think here. Okay, and it's impossible to predict the nature of the. And I'm just saying, given how far humans have come and how what we've overcame, we kind of can predict the nature of the future. If your global depression goes into effect and, there's a new normal coming up, you don't want a good new normal, right? You don't want another America, okay? You want China. That's what you want. You want the Saudi Arabia. Let's keep reading. It is very difficult to know if we are moving in one direction or the other. We must work for the best and prepare for the worst. The pandemic, as horrible as it is, must be a wake-up call that prompts all political leaders to understand that our assumptions and approaches have to change. And that division is a danger to everyone. Once again, it's the global interdependency that let this go as far as it did. Yes. Absolutely. The understanding could lead people to recognize that the only way to address global fragilities is through much more robust mechanisms of global governance with international cooperation. Global governance. There it is. Bold face right there for you. Okay. There has never been a government in history that did not abuse the people. Its people. Never, ever. it is the case that governments have always been the greatest adversary to a people. Absolutely. Whether it's through poorly managing the society or just straight up tyranny. Mostly every civilization has fallen because of one of these two things. Yes, we have a lot of wars that happen where people will come in, but generally it happened at a time where rampant mismanagement was happening. Look throughout history. That's been the case. Governments destroying civilizations. That's been the case. That's been the constant throughout every failed civilization. Government gets too big, gets too unwieldy, too much corruption because of how big it is. Because everybody wants a piece of that pie. Gotta have a piece of that pie. No, the people don't really need anything. I just want to. We need to raise the taxes more. For what? I don't know. We need a. I mean, take your pick. Take your pick of the thousands of ways to mismanage a society. Now, there's never been a global government, right? There's never been a global government yet. People have ruled the known world, but there's never been a fully global government. And at every step in humanity's history, from the first pairing of a man and a woman to the first village to the first, country, first city, then country, we've always had a constant of governments destroying a civilization. Now, unless Jesus Christ himself will come down and lead the world, which is not what will happen, because that story we all have it. We all know how that's gonna go. Okay? So unless we have him, I don't see what's gonna change. I don't see what's gonna be this magic thing that's gonna make it work on a global scale. When the first pairing didn't work, when the first family structure didn't work, right? When the first village failed, then the first city, okay, then the first civilization, Soviet Union, then the nations fell. So I don't buy into this global governance, international cooperation, yes, but global governance. After all, we cannot simply return to the systems that gave rise to the current crisis. But you wanna just just expand the state that we know it doesn't work. But that's yeah. The current crisis of COVID-19 came about because of China. And it's their system that you want to implement around the whole world. Hilarious. We need to build back better with more sustainable, inclusive, gender equality societies. And what the fuck does this have to do with COVID? Huh? Was there a lack of inclusivity? Is that what made grandma pass out because her lungs stopped working? Gender equal societies would have stopped COVID-19. We have that in the West. It came here. It fucked up Italy. It's beating the crap out of Brazil right now. So shut the hell up. What are you saying? In doing so, we must reimagine the way nations cooperate. Today's multilateralism lacks scale, ambition, and teeth. Yeah. I bet it does. And some of the instruments that do have teeth show little or no appetite to bite, as we have seen in the difficulties faced by the Security Council. We need a networked multilateralism in which the United Nations and its agencies, the World Bank, that's been doing a lot of good in the world, huh? The World Bank, And the International Monetary Fund, oh man, how much debt have these two entities accrued from the third world? How much debt? Regional organizations such as Africa Union and European Union, trade organizations, excuse me, and others work together more closely and efficiently. We also need a more inclusive multilateralism. Governments today are far from, listen to this. Governments today are far from the only players in terms of politics and power. Civil society, the business community, local authorities, cities, and regional governments are assuming more and more leadership roles in today's world. This, in turn, will help lead to a effective multilateralism with the mechanisms it needs to make global governance work in its need. You don't need your First Amendment right. No, that's bigoted. That's evil. You don't need the Second Amendment right. Yeah, no, that's bad too. Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need that. That's evil. That's bigoted. That's hate speech. Yeah, yeah. We don't really like that you say you don't like our movies, or we shouldn't. We should have a better quality standard with the coffee. Yeah, that's bigoted. That's bigoted. That's hate speech. You don't like that we rolled back some of the regulations saying the packaging on certain things has to reflect what's actually in the product. Yeah, we don't like that. We don't want to tell you what's in the product. We want to scale things back like that. Yeah. The prices are going up and there's no reason for it. Yeah, we don't like that you're complaining about that. Yeah, this is the power that you've afforded us. This is the power you've afforded us. You let us do this, and now we're at the point where we can just no more freedom of speech. No more freedom of speech. Now, where are your kids at? Because we have a nice little thing that we have set up here. It's a bleak picture. I'm not even gonna get into this. But look at this on your own time. The Lockstep Initiative. Look at this on your own time from the Rockefeller Foundation. It's a good read. It's a good read. So no thank you, UN. No thank you. I am not too interested in your ideas of global governance. Because what you're showing me so far is not a good picture. Not a good picture. So no thank you. No thank you. I was going to talk about some more stuff today, but that's going to do it for today. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. I appreciate it. It's very nice. Hopefully I don't get cut off of here soon, which, is unfortunately the trend nowadays. But let me know what you guys think. I hope I wasn't too vulgar. I've been trying to keep it down, but I get a little into it, get a little emotional. So sometimes that comes out, but I keep that in mind. I'm gonna try to bring it down. I know that was only one subject today, but it was a little long-winded, as you saw. So we are definitely gonna be doing this is just for today. It might happen again in the future, but it's not going to be the standard going forward. I am going to be looking to do more than one topic at a time. So, but like I said, that's going to do it. Thanks for checking out the stream, and I hope I see you guys again. All right, don't forget to show your work. Peace.